Hello, hello. What is going on? Today is Mental Health Monday. We are talking about social media. Before we start, let me just say the spiel, however that word is said. Um, I'm not a professional. I'm currently studying. I'm currently getting my master's in clinical counseling. I have one more year to go. I am going strong. This semester is kicking my butt, but yeah, we keeping on. But yeah, so today we're talking about social media. Again, I'm not a professional, so take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Um, but I am studying to get my master's in clinical counseling, so I will be a mental health professional one day. But yeah, social media. I mean, I think social media is one of the best technological advancements that we have had in our generation. We see social media as a way to communicate, to be able to converse with one another, to share opinions, ideas, theories, and just all around, just be able to spread information, whether it's correct information or misinformation. That's where the problem lies, because that's where humans are able to kind of integrate themselves into it, because we created this and because it's can be so fantastic. Since it involves humans, it can also be pretty terrible thing, especially when it comes to social media, because we have all these videos and photos and things that can create such different dynamics when um, integrated in new generations. And I think social media and mental health can be very closely correlated. And I think there's definitely a relationship there, as to more social media usage and more dependency on social media usage, kind of reflecting a negative relationship. So as um, one goes higher, as the social media increases the amount or the frequency, I think we would tend to see a worsening or declining mental health, or I guess mental health symptoms would also be going up. So maybe it depends, however you set that graph up. But just because we have social media and it's designed to create this kind of addictive behavior that kind of needs you to come back to it, because what we get out of it is dopamine release, and dopamine is correlated with that kind of happiness neurotransmitter, serotonin as well, but more dopamine, and it kind of floods your system and creates that euphoric and positive feeling that you get when it comes to like social interaction, sex actually, or a few other things when it just comes to kind of good overall feelings and any experiences that you enjoy. Dopamine is also released. So people who run social media, people on social media, these different platforms are really designed to kind of create that everlasting and continuously cycling dopamine release in their users, so that way they have this need or this desire to want to come back and utilize social media. And while it sounds very manipulative already off the bat, we also see problems when it comes to comparison. I know last week I said the quote, "Comparison is the thief of joy," and it's still very true when it comes to social media and mental health. Many times people will constantly compare what they see on social media to what their lives are currently. And the funny thing about social media is there have been scandals and stuff and all the stuff, but focused on people lying and people taking photos in airplanes but then getting off them. Like, it's there's such a way to kind of Hollywoodize it and really think and really show like a certain perspective when you're not getting all the information of the story that's going on. So, and this is designed to make you want to kind of consume, kind of work towards something where you're kind of buying into this lifestyle that some people may be promoting. Maybe someone on Instagram you're following is constantly on jets or flights or whatever, but you may not realize that they've taken pictures a few months ago and they're just posting it now to kind of keep it cycling and keep you thinking on your toes that this person lives such a lavish lifestyle. They're on jet planes every other day and they're traveling and all this stuff. And that's just to kind of buy into their mindset. And many of the times we'll see people like this, people's social media influencers have kind of crash courses on how to be like them, when in reality it's kind of just a way for them to make more money. And since the individual or consumer is constantly buying into this ideology, it's just creating more of a secure way of thinking when it comes to comparison. And I need more of this, I need to work hard because I want to do that. And working hard is phenomenal, and that's fantastic, but doing it for the right reasons is kind of where mental health kind of comes into play. And when we see that constant release of dopamine and other neurotransmitters such as serotonin, we tend to kind of overflood the system. And when we aren't getting what we like, or we are comparing it to one another, we kind of see more connections that come from anxiety, depression, just kind of basic disruptive kind of behaviors and disruptive kind of feelings when it comes to comparison of yourself or things you've seen on social media. We've also seen plenty of misinformation being spread on the internet, which can definitely deteriorate or negatively affect one's emotions or one's mental health in general. If something that maybe someone commented something or said something that someone died and that really like destroyed you because it's someone, but it's just misinformation. You don't have all the facts. That's the only problem with social media. And misinformation can be so detrimental to others, people you know, yourself, and it's just reading it with a grain of salt and not really trusting it. I know our older generations have told us you can't believe everything you see on the internet. Um, and a lot of the time now it's kind of flipped, because we see that a lot of the older generation tends to kind of um, believe a lot of the things they see on the internet. But we won't get political on here. Um, but yeah, we see that a lot, and then it creates more stereotypes and misinformation and not seeing the full picture. And many things, especially nowadays, is can be tied and kind of swayed into fit one's narrative and fit one's rhetoric when it comes to certain political stances, or certain laws, or just kind of certain things regarding the people's rights. And when you don't have all the information, people just misconstrued any little piece and think they're right, and just constant see the constant fighting on social media, and just see such a disconnect of some people with certain things that may be happening in today's society and social media, and just kind of seeing that and witnessing and seeing just hateful speech, or kind of just the promotion of hate towards certain marginalized groups. It can just be really kind of discouraging, kind of going on there, and kind of just seeing the constant um negative information or negative rhetoric that's being kind of passed along among people online. There's even like bots and trolls that people talk about on social media that are literally just designed, and sometimes even just code, that are designed to kind of negate whatever you say, especially if you have some traction, just because they want to create kind of just negativity. And when it comes to any certain post or whatever. And that's like, how hateful do you have to be to write this code that creates such that's like focus and main point is just to kind of create disconnect and negativity towards someone else. Like that's just bewilders me. But again, like, it's just something that I think can be super beneficial. I mean, obviously, when it's used for the right reasons, you can show people what's going on in your life, and that can be some really good, especially when you kind of disconnect from some of your maybe high school friends. I know I don't really talk to many of my high school friends, but I still like to see what they're doing. Um, they may post some certain things that, again, like, may be misinformed, or kind of just a different take on what I believe, and it can be kind of hard to see. Or another thing that just came to me when um, affecting mental health on Twitter, we constantly see, almost pretty much every single day in the United States, talk about school shootings, and you just see it every other day, and it's just like a new place, and it's just so heartbreaking. And like, although it's good to be aware and know that things like this are happening, so that way, if you want to get kind of proactive or kind of active in that kind of realm, you can with all the information that is able to just be sent on within seconds. That's good, but it's like it also kind of creates just like this disheartening feeling that this stuff can happen. So there's just like a love hate kind of thing with that yeah, like I'm glad I'm aware of this, because if like we didn't have social media, like I wouldn't be, but like it is heartbreaking because it's such terrible and sad news. And it's just, I mean, like, just social media, because like humans created it and we're creating it, like we obviously are going to have such some very good parts and a very some very really bad parts, and social media is kind of contributing more negative lately and than positive in my eyes. um I think it can be used absolutely well when it comes to raising money for certain things, or just kind of communicating, just basic communicating. But there's just so much hate and negativity, like online and through social media nowadays, that I just think that younger generations should be more careful, and people who are becoming parents should be weary of not allowing their children, but being like understanding or knowing like what their children are accessing when it comes to certain things, like Snapchat, that can be very problematic. Instagram can also be very problematic, just with people's self-esteem issues. That was a hugely um, hugely debated thing when it came to self-esteem and the constant like influencer or like model and people constantly comparing themselves. I think I read a study a while ago about women's self-esteem issues when it comes to Instagram and like likes and um, views and whatnot. But I don't remember exactly all the things, so I'm not gonna try and remember what I remember, just because that's doing a disservice to you. But yeah, it's just like there's a lot of studies that I've read that had to do with social media mental health. That was a lot of topics for presentations and stuff when it came to um, like presentations that I had to do in my undergrad. And I think that, I mean, just more information that we see, like we can kind of see what trends tend to happen in order to try to kind of again make us more consumers of social media, which then in turn negatively affect our mental health. But just try to be conscious of this, especially if you find yourself comparing yourself with others. You are at your own pace in your own life, and just because someone who may be the same age as you may be doing something differently than you, or maybe ahead of you in a way, as long as you're on that path and directed towards what you want to do, that's all that really matters. There's no time limit or time thing that you need to do in order. It's you have one life to live it. You do it however you want at your pace. And a lot of people just kind of forget that. And we are just so caught up as a society to constantly try and push this individualistic hustle grind culture that everyone begins to compare themselves with another person, and that's just going to destroy any type of joy or hopefulness that you have towards whatever goal you have set in mind. And it can create a really negative mindset that kind of just influences your mental health, and sometimes those can create kind of somatic symptoms. That's basically when like your thoughts and emotions turn in like physical ailments like stomach aches, headaches, like eye strain, just because of your mental health can negatively affect your physical health. And again, if you're catching yourself being envious or comparing or any other word that's just you wish that you were somebody else, um, be conscious that, or try to be conscious, or tell yourself that this is kind of exactly what these social media accounts and stuff are trying to do, and that you're not at fault and you are at the correct space in your own life. Even if it feels like you're in a break or you're hitting a wall. I know sometimes that can be the case, but I saw somewhere that sometimes a wall is good because it's you can lean on it and rest. And that's a huge quote that I'm going to be intending to use in my clinical practice, especially when people who are hitting a wall and don't really know what they're doing, and they turn to social media. don't compare yourself to others. You might be hitting a wall and you just needed to kind of lean on it and rest for a little bit. And that's okay. So just again, you're at your own pace. Just make sure you're focused on what you're doing and what you can do to better your life. And remember, everything you see online, even though there's photos, there's a lot of manipulation that can be done. So just be real careful when it comes to social media and how you're letting it affect your mental health. Um, but yeah, so that's all I really have to say on today. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe on this video or other Mental Health Monday videos. I look at every single comment. Yeah, make sure you subscribe so that way you can tune into every single Mental Health Monday. And yeah, I will see you guys next Monday. And yeah, have a good one. I hope you're taking care of your mental health. Don't let social media mess with that. Mental health is more important. See you guys.